So this Gretsch costs almost $4,000 and is one of the most iconic Gretsch guitars there are. And then there is the Gretsch Electromatic series, which features a double cut body and PAF style pickup, but is almost a quarter of the cost. So I think that begs the question on what are the differences between these two guitars, and is the Falcon really worth 4 times the price? Let's find out. Before we go further, I do want to thank Zounds for sending over the Electromatic series. I purchased my Falcon from them, but they were super kind. They let me use it for today's demo. So please, 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 if you want to support the channel, check out that affiliate link down below, and you know what, buy a guitar, pedal, a couple things from them. Why not? Now, to carry along with the video, I think both of these guitars are spectacular. And what you won't hear me say in this video is just because the Falcon's more expensive, that means the Electromatic series is terrible, because that's just not true. The Electromatic series is great. I have personally owned 3 different guitars from the Electromatic series, and I think Gretsch does a really great job making an affordable guitar that feels and sounds great. But I think it's going to be important to break down the similarities, the differences, compare how these guitars sound, and then truly look at who this guitar is built for, both for the Falcon and the Electromatic series. So let's start with what makes these two guitars most similar. Now, the Electromatic series is going to have a double cutaway body, just like the Falcon does, but the difference is the Falcon is going to be a semi-hollow construction versus the Electromatic series is going to be hollow body. Oh, this is going to be a long video. Both of these guitars also have Filtertron style pickups, but they are a little different, so I'll explain that here in a second. Both of these guitars offer a polyurethane finish. Both of these guitars have binding across the neck and through the body and on the F-holes, and both of these have that kind of signature Gretsch look. It's very ornate and they're really cool looking guitars. I'm not kidding when I say both of these guitars are killer, but they are very different instruments. So next we'll talk about the differences, but first let's hear a few of the clean samples just so we can hear how different these two guitars actually sound. Now, like I've already said, the Electromatic series are spectacular, and if you can't shell out the money for the Falcon, these guitars are still really killer. Now, the first major difference is going to be the pickups and the electronics. And as Jim Lill points out in his video right here, probably about 90% of an electric guitar's tone comes from the pickups. And it depends on what style of Electromatic guitar you buy from Gretsch. They're going to have different pickups, but in this case, the G5422T series comes with the Broadtron pickups, which these are going to be skewed a little bit more towards a traditional PAF style pickup, and Gretsch actually gives us this really nifty diagram to help kind of just show us the difference between their different pickups. And in my opinion, these are going to be more compressed than a typical humbucker pickup. They're going to have more pushed mid-range, and they're going to have that nice Gretsch growl that everybody is used to and loves from these pickups. The only thing I personally think is that they are still a little muddy, especially compared to a cleaner pickup like a traditional PAF style humbucker or a Filtertron. Now, to be fair, this is something that's fairly easy to swap out, and for a couple $100 extra you could buy some TV Jones classics and get that more true Filtertron sound from this guitar. Now, in contrast, the Silver Falcon is going to have Gretsch's high fidelity pickups, which is their take on that traditional Filtertron sound. And I think the high fidelity pickups are close to that Filtertron sound. I personally prefer the TV Jones classics with the neck position and then the plus in the bridge. That way I've got a little bit more power, especially for those big lead lines. Now, one benefit to the high fidelity pickups, or maybe just Filtertrons in general, is I find myself using my Silver Falcon all the time. And it's mostly because I feel like these pickups just work for every situation. Now, let's talk about the second major difference, which is the quality of the guitars. This is going to be noticeably different between these two guitars, and again, I have to thank Zounds for sending me this instrument. That way I can make this video, compare these side by side. So please support those that support this channel. Check them out, buy any gear from them using the affiliate link below. And now let's talk about the difference in quality between these guitars. Now, to start, I think the Silver Falcon is darn near perfect. This is one of the most immaculate, spectacular playing guitars that I've ever had. I also have a Jennings, I have a Sir, I've had a couple Sirs, I also own a Novo, I've had a lot of other high-end guitars, and there's something just very ornate and beautiful about the Silver Falcon, and that's kind of what they're known for. In this case, they are made in Japan, and you can tell because the craftsmanship, the playability, the fluidity of the instrument is just spectacular. Now, I say all of that, and I'm not knocking the Electromatic series by any means, especially for sub $1,000. I think these guitars are also great. It's just when you compare them side by side, you definitely notice more of those differences. And I think where someone would start to see some of these differences would be in things such as the finish quality, the binding, the playability, the tuning stability, and even just some of the fretwork. Again, the Electromatic series definitely isn't bad, but I think this brings me to the third and kind of final big difference between these two guitars. And that is the playability. Now, the Electromatic is definitely fun to play, but it's like somebody coming up to you and saying, hey, you can drive my Honda Civic, or you can drive my Porsche 911. Which one are you gonna pick? The Falcon just flows together. Everything is flawless and smooth, and especially things like the neck, the binding, the fretwork. It is just world class. It's spectacular. And I do have to give huge props to Gretsch because I feel like they make a great guitar no matter the price point, and I think both of these guitars are still very inspiring in and of themselves. I like some of the mid-range growl more that you get out of the Electromatic series. I think you can get some really gnarly solos out of it, but I think in totality, the playability, the craftsmanship, and just kind of the elegance of the Silver Falcon is why I personally love this guitar and why it's been a bucket list guitar for me for so long. Of course, there's lots of other little differences, but now let's hear a few more samples of these pickups side by side. so which one should you buy? Now, I personally think that's a really tough question, but I get asked it all the time. I don't know you personally. I don't know your financial standing. I can only give you my subjective opinion based off the experience that I've had. What I do know is that the Electromatic series is going to appeal to a much wider range of guitar players, and I personally think that it's probably one of the best guitars that you can still get for under $1,000. And there's definitely a reason that I've owned 3 of the Electromatic series before, because they're just great guitars. They sound great and they have that signature Gretsch sound. So if you've got that itch and you just want to try something new, for under $1,000, these are killer guitars. Now, I will say the Falcon has kind of been a holy grail guitar of mine for years, and I'm really stoked about it. I'd also say that the Falcon is by no means an entry-level guitar. The price definitely reflects that, and I also think the quality, the craftsmanship, the playability are definitely catered more towards the enthusiast or the professional guitarist, and somebody that I think really deeply knows what they want and what they like out of a guitar. Doesn't mean if you're new to guitar, you wouldn't enjoy the Falcon, but I personally think if I was new to guitar, my money would be better spent on lessons, pedals, and spending time crafting my tone and my technique before I got to the point of buying a really expensive guitar. Either way, I love both of these guitars, and ultimately I'll just keep the Falcon because for me, it encompasses everything I wanted out of the Electromatic series, plus a lot more. Okay, so which one do you like better? Let me know in the comments below which one sounds better, which one's cooler looking, and use that affiliate link below. That way you can buy either of these guitars from Zounds. And lastly, if you're still on the fence for the Falcon, check out this video here for a more detailed review. I'll see you guys next time.